We'll cut this out later.
Yeah, hold on. Okay, it is recording. I thought for a second it didn't. Note to Rob, cut out that last few seconds. Continue. Welcome to the Crooked Table Podcast. This is Rob.
This is Freddy.
On this episode, we're going to be talking about 10 Cloverfield Lane, running through our final conversation for Jessica Jones. Now that I finally caught up, Justice Daredevil is about to come back, and kind of teasing some of the episodes that we are going to have in store for you guys over the next week or so.
Yes.
Does that sound about right?
Yes, that does sound about right.
All right, so thanks. Now that I have your approval, we can proceed. So I saw 10 Cloverfield Lane over the weekend. I know you didn't. You said you were going to get it.
I was going to watch it this week.
Yeah, so you didn't quite get a chance. You could see my video review on youtube.com on the Crooked Table channel. And I thought it was really good. I was really excited to see it, just because of all the viral marketing going around. And just the fact that the movie, we didn't even know it existed until 2 months ago. And they're like, by the way, Cloverfield sequel. What
this
now?
Happened.
Yeah, pretty much. And I love John Goodman. I've seen in like a million different things. And he's proven in the past that he can do comedy and drama and kind of slip from one to the other in a moment's notice. And I have a...
He's just not the silly husband on Roseanne.
Right,
anymore.
Exactly.
He
made me all emotional in Speed Racer. In Speed Racer movie, I was like, "Oh, John Goodman, I love you."
Yeah, I mean, I think he's proven more time and time again that he can be like that Gary Oldman type person, that he can just melt himself into the role that they want him to play. Because you don't really see that too much, or in his previous careers,
right? In
his previous roles, I mean, you haven't really seen that much from John Goodman, or at least if it was very low key, because I never noticed it before. But yeah, in the roles that he's been taking up, like even in Speed Racer, which you wouldn't expect it, he's stepping up to the plate.
Yeah, he's definitely more of a character actor. He does a lot of work with like the Coen brothers and has supporting roles in movies like Argo and Flight, but he's always really memorable, and he's actually never been nominated for an Oscar or anything. There's been actually, I think Variety posted an article about John Goodman and how he should be nominated for an Oscar for this movie. I don't know if that's going to happen because it's really early in the year, and it's it has like ties to like the sci-fi horror community, and the Academy is not usually into that.
They don't like to touch that
pretty much, unless you're District 9 or like Silence of the Lambs or something like that. At The Exorcist, they usually kind of put you in a separate box. Like, yeah, you were good, but no, which is unfortunate. But and Mary Elizabeth Winstead is in it, and I have an unrequited crush on her thanks to Scott Pilgrim vs. the World and some of the other work that she's done.
Yeah.
So that was a really interesting film. It's very, I mean, what is your impression from the trailer? Because I'm worried that people going to see that are going to go in expecting it to be like the first Cloverfield and then walk away being like, well, there was no monster there at all.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people that go to see this movie are going to have similar reactions to it as how when I went to go see The Witch.
Yeah, and I had a feeling I was going to bring that up actually too.
They're gonna go in there thinking that it's going to be a great horror movie. Oh, it got a 9.3 on this website. Maybe like I think it was Fandango. I think I saw it. Oh, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be like the next horror. One that they throw like 6 movies for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the next
because that's normally what happens with horror movies.
Right,
they don't just do one and done. They go.
No, they never end. They're still making Nightmare on Elm Street movies and Friday the 13th movies and all Halloweens.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's going to be a similar reaction there. Because people are going to think like, oh, it's going to be like, the original Cloverfield.
Right.
And there's going to be this huge monster and a shaky camera and all this stuff. Was there a shaky camera?
No, it's not found footage. But if you've seen the trailer, right?
Yeah, it didn't look like
there's
there
no
was shaky
found footage
camera
in there. And they sort of hint at like the existence of monsters in the trailer. but it's really more. I mean, it's really more in common with Room than it does Cloverfield. Honestly, it's very confined to that one space for nearly the entire film, and that's not a bad thing because there's a whole different kind of tension that's involved in this movie.
It's kind of like a quasi sequel.
Yeah, it's set in that universe, but it's not really.
Not really. It's has the name Cloverfield, but it's technically not in any. It's as far as we know, not in any sequential order.
Right.
And it's not even shot in the same way, done in the same way.
Exactly. It's its own subgenre. So
yeah.
But in a way, that's a good thing because it's a really interesting character-based thriller. That if you didn't have
from it.
Yeah, it stands on its own too. And if Cloverfield wasn't in the name, most of people would be like, "What is this mess?" Because it was initially the script was called The Cellar, and then they reworked it into being a Cloverfield film and set in that world. So if they want to use the Cloverfield brand as just an ongoing anthology of films that are set within this larger, attack, and then just have each one be sort of its own thing, I'm fine with that. I think that's a cool idea.
Well, you know what? I think it's good that they called it 10 Cloverfield Lane because it would like you said, if they called it The Cellar, would people really regular people really go see? I mean, movie buffs, yes, but would regular people that just go for the entertainment or whatever go to see this movie? Not very likely. Well, especially with other movies that are coming out, they're more likely to choose that. It would be sort of like a Prometheus sort of situation where it wasn't not like about Alien and stuff.
Yeah, that was an Alien sort of, but not really.
I had no idea going into to see Prometheus that had anything to do with the alien.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I was surprised when when
the xenomorph shows up at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, hey, what the hell?
And I was like, wait,
did they just rip off Alien?
Did they rip off Alien?
It's from the same director,
I didn't realize that this had anything to do with Alien. Right. So I was very confused.
Well, they're calling the sequel Alien Covenant to make sure you know it's an Alien movie. So
exactly. So I think that regular people that haven't necessarily followed in with every details of all the movies that are coming out are going to be confused if they call it The Cellar. So I think it was a very wise decision.
Plus, in a way,
to choose that.
If they call it The Cellar, and all of a sudden, somewhere along the line, it involves aliens and like monsters and shit, you probably like, the fuck? You started like with a real world setting, and then it's like those movies that you go see and you're like, oh, this is gonna be a psychological drama. Like there's that movie, spoilers for the 2004 movie The Forgotten, starring Julianne Moore. But Julianne Moore plays a mom whose son like disappears one day. And she's like, what the hell? What happened to I had my kid? And everybody's like, you're crazy. You never had a kid, blah, blah, blah. It turns out at the end, fucking aliens took her kid. So the whole time you're watching, and then when it gets to the end, like it's like the psychological drama. It's like, is there some kind of conspiracy? Is she really crazy? What's going on? And when you get to the end, they're aliens. You're like, the fuck? Aliens? That's your big plot twist at the end?
Yeah.
So if they would have pulled that in this movie...
Is that M. Night Shyamalan movie?
No, it's not an M. Night Shyamalan.
Okay.
It sounds like an M. Night Shyamalan movie,
doesn't
it?
Like
Yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Have you seen The Visit? Speaking of...
No, I wanted to Redbox it, though.
You should check it out. It's not great, but it's interesting.
Yeah, I saw that you talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah. That was
you guys liked it, though?
We liked it. Yeah, we liked it enough. I mean, compared to...
all his other movies.
Yeah, compared to his last few, it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
But yeah. So going back to 10 Cloverfield Lane, that title sort of puts that frame on it, that it's in that world, but if you go in there expecting Godzilla type movie, you're gonna be mistaken. But I mean, if you go in there with an open mind, like, all right, I'm expecting this to be a thriller. I like the cast. Let me see what happens. And you walk out of there pleasantly surprised, because most people have been giving it very positive reviews, and I would give that 4 out of 5. That's what I gave it on my review.
The critics, though, not the...
Well,
not
movie...
the
I mean,
fans.
I think moviegoers are going to be sort of split depending on what they're going in expecting to see. If you go into a movie and it says Star Wars on it and there's no fucking lightsabers, you're going to be like, the fuck?
Yeah, that's like going to see Captain America Civil War, and they're not even fighting.
Right.
They're just sitting in a coffee house drinking, tea.
But in a way, it's like the marketing sets up what your expectations for that movie should be. There's nothing in the marketing to make you think there were no shots of monsters. Nobody was on the press circuit being like, yeah, it's gonna be, shit gets real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the people that went to see The Force Awakens and they were pissed off that there wasn't more Luke Skywalker. I'm like, did you see Luke Skywalker in the trailer? Was he in the posters? Was Mark Hamill showing up on, on Jimmy Fallon being like, you guys got to go see this movie. It's in it. It's awesome. I have a really great part or whatever.
Yeah.
No, nobody's fucking said that.
Yeah, exactly.
So the people coming out of it being like, what the fuck was Luke in it? Not at all, except for like 2 seconds. It's like, well, dude, that was your own thing. There's going to be other movies. Maybe the next movie you'll get more Luke, which, obviously we will.
Yeah, so I heard that he was thinking about signing up for this, or he is signing up for the second or the next one.
Yeah, he's, I'm sure, under contract at least for episode 8. I don't know about episode 9. Probably, I would presume. We'll see how who gets killed in each movie, because Star Wars has a tradition of every movie having major characters die, and we won't get into spoilers on any of those. But obviously Obi-Wan and stuff like that, it's not all of them are all in all the movies. So we'll see how Luke's journey turns out. But I think it's a pretty safe bet he's going to be in episode 9, because he's in episode 8 because they're filming it. So
okay.
But yeah, 10 Cloverfield Lane, definitely recommended. I don't want to get into, you can't really get into too much spoilers on it, but it's definitely, it's more grounded than the first Cloverfield.
Is the address have any significance to the monster or anything?
They don't really give you just concrete answers on a lot of stuff.
And this is not without avoiding spoilers,
right? Or
anything.
Yeah,
okay.
No, they don't really give you. You see the address at the end,
because it's odd that they have the first one named Cloverfield.
Yeah, but what is the bearing?
And it's called the Cloverfield tapes.
What is the? Yeah, exactly. That, I mean, I don't exactly know how in the universe of the films why they gave it the name Cloverfield originally. Maybe the 10 Cloverfield Lane is where the first incidents happened.
Isn't Cloverfield like another? Is it like another name for like crop circles or something like that?
I don't know about that. I'd have to check on this. I'm not aware. Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, because I don't know. It seems like that might have something to do with because it's aliens, of course.
Right.
So you would think that maybe it has some significance to that. Maybe that has to do with aliens. I don't really know.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, you do get a little more. You do see some stuff going on. You get a little bit of a sense of what's going on out in the world in this movie, but you don't. They don't answer things. They don't go out of their way to give you exposition of like, this is what's happening. They're just, by the end of it, you get a sense of what the situation is, but not 100% how it connects to the first one. And J.J. Abrams, who produced both of them, he's already gone on record saying that they're hoping to make more of them. So whether or not future films sort of clarify that a little bit, I mean, we'll have to see. But putting Cloverfield in the name definitely helped this, what would have otherwise been an indie film, reach a much larger audience, because it cost $5 million to make. And it made, I think, $25 million this weekend. So it's already well in the black. But yeah, so I would check that out, especially now before we start getting into Batman v Superman and all this crazy like bigger movies coming out. I mean, it's good that it has a couple weeks to sort of, get some attention before it's blown out of the water by the $200 million movies.
Yeah, exactly. They chose the right placement for their movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Because right now it's like a lull between explosions.
Between kinda. Deadpool and Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
Essentially.
So
that was what I saw. So what about you? Did you see anything recently?
I just a lot of Netflix stuff. I caught up with Gotham.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I didn't watch the one that was
yesterday.
We're doing this on Tuesday, so yesterday.
Right.
I watched all the Mr. Freeze stuff though. So
what are your thoughts? What do you think about his storyline? Did they handle it well? And you excited to see what happens next?
Yeah, I think they handled it well. I like the guy that they chose, and I like the little surprise ending too, with the showing of Theo. I like the guy that plays Hugo Strange a lot too.
Yeah, you know who that is, right?
That's BD Wong. Looks familiar.
That's BD Wong. He's the scientist from the Jurassic Park movies, the first one and Jurassic World.
Oh, okay.
The only guy that was in both the first and the most recent Jurassic Park movies. He's also in...
That's why I didn't recognize him. I thought I was like, he looks familiar, but there's something different about him.
He's a crazy science guy.
Is it the facial hair? No, it's that he's bald.
Yeah, and his glasses. He's got those Hugo Strange glasses. He looks... I don't think Hugo Strange is...
I don't think glasses would throw me off that much.
Well, you're not Lois Lane.
I know.
I don't think Hugo Strange is Asian in the comics, right?
I don't believe so, no.
Well, then that's awesome. Good, because he totally looks the part. I don't care if he's what color he is or what ethnicity he is. He's a great actor, and he's great in this part, and he looks just like the freaking comic books.
Yeah.
So, and I think Hugo Strange is a character that I definitely hope they bring him into the Batman movies. Mm-hmm. Once Ben Affleck starts to do his own series of movies after in between Justice Leagues, whatever.
Yeah.
Hugo Strange has a lot of potential to be really interesting, and he's sort of become the puppet master of this second half of the season, I think.
So, did you watch the last Gotham episode though?
Yeah, of course.
What did you think about it?
I did my review of it this morning. You can read
I saw the preview. It's whether or not Bruce has to decide whether he's gonna, kill the guy who, murdered his parents.
Well, who he thinks murdered his parents.
I'm
still questionable. I'm still questioning whether or not Silver gave him like 100% the right information.
Yeah, and I saw there's also a preview of Alfred being in the hospital.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to get into that.
No, I don't get into that. But
spoilers, everybody. No,
I mean they saw the preview. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Do you think by the I think Hugo Strange is going to be bringing everybody back, basically. Like, I think by the end of the season, it looks like, if you looked at those tubes at the end, there's Theo Gallivan, obviously, Jerome, Fish Mooney, and some other dude who were like, who the fuck is that? So we might see all of those people back by the end of the season.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't sure who that was. I wasn't sure if that was
Fish Mooney. Yeah, one of them, Fish Mooney, was in there. And I think we heard that Jada's coming back, maybe at least for an episode or two. Because I always kind of thought that they would bring her back in some way, because she just fell off she just fell into cliff. Water.
Yeah.
In a comic, I mean, in real life, yeah, maybe you'd be dead because you fall on rocks or something. But in a TV show, first of all, in a TV show,
that height, the water would kill you.
Well, yeah. But in a TV show, based on a comic book now, in a TV show, you probably would be alive. But in a comic book TV show, forget it. Unless you're like fucking head's getting cut off. And even then, they'll find a way to be like, we sewed his head back on, or he's like cybernetic, whatever.
Yeah.
Because all those people got killed in earlier episodes, in the last season or so. So there's gonna be a lot of reanimation and people coming back. And it's interesting to see what they're doing with the Penguin. I'm not gonna tell you anything about the most recent episode, but I'm still kind of questioning what Hugo Strange's plan is for the Penguin. And how that's going to play out.
I think maybe he's trying to make him another one of his minions.
To control him or something.
To control him, because of course Penguin's not going to willingly go under somebody else's rule. He was going to try and do his own thing. Yeah. Unless he's going to try and be smart and pretend like he's under his own rule.
It's unclear exactly still. I speculated in my review that I wrote this morning. I speculate whether or not they're trying to put Penguin and position him in to enter the political realm, because he does that in the comic books several times. And, even in Batman Returns, he becomes mayor of Gotham City, or he's running for mayor of Gotham City.
Yeah.
So maybe Hugo Strange is trying to get him under his control, so then he has a politician, he can control the next mayor, try and rehabilitate Penguin so that, he can get him in a position of power. I'm not sure exactly how they want to work that. But I'm definitely interested to know. I think the show's gotten a lot better this season compared to last season. Last season, I feel like they trimmed a lot of the stuff that didn't really work. And this season, they're honing in a little bit more on Bruce's journey and sort of the simultaneous rise of all the villains from within Gotham. Yeah. So I'm excited to see how that continues to develop. And in the most recent episode, they're really taking steps to point out, hey, this kid's going to be Batman one day. These might be some of the experiences that lead him to that point. And I hope they continue to develop that.
Yeah.
So
hopefully they do that very well.
Yeah, and the Mr. Freeze storyline, I thought so far they handled it pretty well, because we know him as the guy who has to be in sub-zero temperatures, whose wife is needs to be restored or whatever. I still have a feeling Hugo Strange probably has her somewhere stashed away, so that Mr. Freeze
can use her later.
Yeah, so Mr. Freeze
as leverage or something, maybe.
Right, because traditionally Mr. Freeze is motivated by, I have to steal this stuff so I can find a cure for my wife, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that she might not be as dead as we think she is. We just saw her start to crack.
Well, because I thought in the comic books, the whole thing is that he's trying to save his wife.
Right.
And she's in a
Cryogenic chamber, yeah.
Yeah, cryogenic chamber.
It's a hard word, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. In my head, I can see it. When I try and say it, I'm like, it's like I'm speaking a different language.
Right.
So I thought, that they were maybe going to do that and maybe show that, but maybe they'll.
They could still do that. I mean,
she didn't fall and break into the floor or melt like that other guy did.
Yeah,
which
that was gross.
Fucking disgusting.
Yeah, that was pretty heavy. So. But they needed motivation for him to be like, screw it, I'm gonna expose myself to the gas and kill myself, and then of course it didn't kill him, and he got all white hair and everything.
Yeah.
But no, I like that storyline, and I think they handled it. They were faithful enough to, the story that everybody loves from Batman the Animated Series and even Batman and Robin, which is a mess of a film, but at least the Mr. Freeze stuff is sort of based on, the backstory that fans have come to accept for that character. So they did a pretty good job of sort of giving us the very first chapter of that.
Mm-hmm.
But
I like going back to Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
I liked also how they made they made a reasoning for how he was able to survive that.
Right.
They created okay,
you
created a tolerance to it because you were using that formula for so long that you created a tolerance over time. Unlike other people, they wouldn't be able to do that. And so they had not just an astounding oh, you just did somehow.
It's a miracle.
Yeah, it's a miracle.
Bruce Willis from Dead Becomes Her. It's a miracle.
I like that they add I like that they add that little premise for okay, this is how he actually became it, and why it was possible for him to become this.
And these kind of fantastical stories, you can get away with it. If they hadn't established something like that, then you'd be like, what the fuck? This doesn't make any sense. But I mean, honestly, none of it makes any sense.
No, it doesn't.
But all you need is in this world, you need to make me believe that this could happen.
Exactly.
And by putting a small detail like that, you sell me on, oh, okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense in this context of the story, which is already so kind of ridiculous in a real world setting.
Yeah.
And this season's really embraced the comic book nature of it. The first season was trying to be this is the gang wars and we're fighting for Gotham turf, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine, but that's not at a certain point that's going to not get interesting. So by the fact that they're continuing to evolve it and become more and more like what fans would want to see from the comic books, I think the show has vastly improved.
Yeah,
this season.
I agree.
It hasn't been renewed for season 3 yet, so I'm wondering how that's going to work out.
I think
I would imagine it will, but I don't know what the ratings are like.
So amazing.
I don't know what the ratings are like though.
Yeah. I hear a lot of people, at least a lot of people that I've talked to, they say that
they're enjoying it.
They're enjoying it. That they're either catching up with the second season, and they're saying that they love it.
Yeah.
So I don't see why they wouldn't. But there's been a lot of shows where they got canceled before they really hit.
Fox is notorious for that too.
Exactly.
Fox is the worst.
They always cut shows before they really start to explode, and I feel like this one, which is so crazy because it's still early for a show to really explode. Normally shows go to the 4th season and then they really hit that mark. Mm-hmm. But with this one, I feel like it's right on the verge of really being one of the top shows. Well, and when you see the
which
newest, is crazy because you wouldn't expect it.
Yeah, no. And when you see the new episode, you'll see that they really are honing in on Bruce Wayne and making him the lead. Because it's funny because when the show started, they were like, Gordon's our man, and Bruce is also there, but Gordon's the main guy. And as the show's gone on, Gordon is getting less and less of his own story and more I gotta catch this guy. I'm gonna kill people if I have to. I do whatever it takes, with Galavan and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's becoming less of a character and more of just more of a supporting character in a way.
Yeah.
And I think it's starting to shift over where Bruce is going to be maybe more of the lead and Gordon's just kind of, the embodiment of the police force and stuff.
Well, I think that's something that's going to happen frequently on this show.
Yeah.
That it's never going to be particularly directed on one character.
Right.
as the main character. It goes from like, okay, Bruce, okay, we'll give Commissioner Gordon now, or Gordon. He's not really.
Is he like lieutenant or something now?
He's lieutenant or something. Okay. Then we're gonna go and maybe do have a Riddler thing and a Penguin thing. They have a lot of.
The villains do tend to be like the main characters a lot of the time.
Yeah, exactly, and I like that they have so many story arcs at one time too. Because there's Riddlers.
We're getting there with
Penguins.
him.
Riddler?
Oh yeah, we're getting there.
I know. It seems
there may or may not have been a green question mark somewhere in this last episode. So they're getting
slight
there.
Spoiler.
Teasing. By the end of the season, he'll be all like, "Riddle me this, riddle me that." Not as over the top as Jim Carrey, but
yeah. But it'll be more realistic and not
as realistic as Gotham is.
As a crazy, enigma can be.
Yeah, pretty much. And that actor's great. That actor's always been one of the best ones on the show. Yeah. So going from one comic book show to another, finally caught up with Jessica Jones. I had to binge it in one night. I think I watched, over the course of 48 hours, I watched the last 5 episodes.
What do you think of Kilgrave?
Kilgrave was awesome. The fact that these people are not getting nominated for Emmys and shit is ridiculous. Vincent D'Onofrio and Daredevil and David Tennant and Jessica Jones. The fact that they're not being recognized by, for Best Supporting Actor on a television series and things like that is really ridiculous to me, because they really are kind of stealing every scene that they're in.
But can you see how? Remember way back when, 3 or 4 episodes ago, maybe even more, when I said how much I love Kilgrave.
Yeah.
And I talked about Jessica Jones a little bit.
Yeah.
And I even put that statement that I like Kilgrave possibly even more than I do Vincent D'Onofrio's character. I put that out there, and I like it even more than Loki. He's
more fun to watch than Kingpin. But Kingpin had more vulnerability to him.
As far as movies
go, he's more complex.
Loki, of course.
Oh, well, yeah. There's no one else right now. Winter Soldier, I guess, but that's about it.
He's not even a villain anymore. Not even a villain, yeah.
Not anymore, yeah.
So,
or is he?
Then, well, yeah, you don't really know.
We haven't seen it yet.
But as far as the shows go, it would be, of course, up with Kingpin and Kilgrave.
Right.
I would pick Kilgrave, just because they delved more into his backstory a little bit. His character had you could just tell the actor had fun with the character.
Right.
As Kingpin, they're very different characters, because Kingpin is more reserved. Mm-hmm. He's like a strong, silent.
Until he's decapitating motherfuckers with a car door.
He has, but Kilgrave, he's just all around crazy. As Kingpin, he's more.
Oh my god, some of the things that he does in those.
Exactly.
Sure. He's like, "Mom, pick up those scissors." I'm like, "Oh no, don't do this."
Yeah, exactly.
So many things in that show's really. I mean, I know it's Netflix, but Jesus Christ, that show's graphic. That's more graphic than Daredevil, and Daredevil was pretty violent at times.
Yeah.
Jessica Jones, just there was limbs coming off, people slitting their own throats, and all kinds of crazy shit. I was kind of sitting there like, oh my god, why am I watching this?
Toward the end of the season, with in the one apartment.
Oh man, it's messed up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still, and there's so many. It was getting to that point with some of the episodes that it's late at night and I'm watching it and I should be sleeping, but I'm watching it anyway.
Yeah.
And it's I had to cut myself off in the middle of an episode, because I knew if I got to the end of the episode, I just want to watch the next episode.
Yeah.
So I was I'm gonna end it here, because every episode ends with something where you're like, what the fuck? How did that just happen?
Especially toward the end of
because it's building and building.
Yeah.
And Daredevil did that a lot too. The whole thing with Karen and Wesley in season 1 of Daredevil, where you're just like, wait, what just happened? You're thinking these characters are going to be around, and then they kill most of the Daredevil and Jessica Jones made no qualms about killing off a large chunk of their supporting cast.
Yeah.
Man, it was just so great, the dynamic with Jessica and Kilgrave, and you even have him as a hero for 2 seconds, and you think she's gonna maybe stay with him to try and redeem him, and then no, she doesn't. The constant reversals. Just when you think you know where the show's heading, they flip it on you.
Yeah.
And in such a brilliant way. And the funny thing is that with these Netflix superhero shows that Marvel's been doing is, like, I care about Daredevil and I care about Jessica Jones, but I care almost as much about, you know, Karen on Daredevil or, you know, Malcolm. I was like, oh my god, I really don't want to see Malcolm die. Yeah, huh? Oh, Foggy, yeah. When I was saying Malcolm from Jessica Jones, like, I was like really, I cared about that character way more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
He was, you know, he's not like even the second tier.
Because he's a victim.
Yeah.
And you don't want him to be the victim and then really suffer.
Right.
Because he already Kilgrave ruined his whole life.
Yeah,
you don't want him to actually take his life, too.
Right, and Kilgrave's been doing that to people left and right throughout the season.
Exactly.
And just like, man, and everything that's seen with Hope, when they have Kilgrave there and Jessica Jones, he like kind of lures Jessica there.
Yeah.
That whole thing, oh man, so great. I'm excited to see what happens next. And I loved Rachel Taylor, who played Trish. Mm-hmm. I thought she was great.
Yeah.
Interesting character. She's also very attractive, but interesting character in addition to that. Like, she was really strong, like, powerful woman like this. And that's the great thing about this show. There's so many, like, there's more female characters on it than men. And all the female characters are really strong, really interesting, multidimensional. And you had Carrie-Anne Moss as Jerry Hogarth, which is a man in the comic books, by the way.
That's good.
You know, I thought that was cool to see her there, and she did some really good work. And they left just enough open to for the second season, which they've now confirmed is happening, to keep me excited about what's going to happen, but also, you know, didn't hint so heavily that you're like, well, I know what to expect now. Like, she does, because she's, you know, it ends with her deleting all those messages of people being like, Jessica, I need your help. And she's like, no, I don't want to do that. Whatever. And she's still unsure how she wants to proceed. Mm-hmm. And they left Luke in an interesting place, and they left...
To start off with his own show.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. Simpson is, like, I think missing. Didn't that doctor guy, Dr. Kozlov, take Simpson, the cop? Who was taking those pills. Didn't he, like, grab him, and then we don't know what happened to him?
Yeah, exactly.
I read up on it, and in the comic books, he becomes a character. He becomes a villain named Nuke.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll see that develop into season 2. I didn't know that until after the show ended. I'm like, what the fuck happened with this guy? Who's this character?
Yeah, I was going to talk to you
about... And I was like, oh, that's a guy who's, like, important. So maybe it'll be season 2.
I was going to talk to you about him and Nuke and all that stuff. So when we last talked, but you hadn't even gotten to that point.
No, I hadn't. I didn't even know.
So I couldn't communicate with you.
Was he doing those drugs?
I did a lot of research.
Was he doing those drugs in the, like, earlier on in the season? I didn't remember that. Like, did they set that up and then it
No, he did it when...
midway through, right?
He did it when he... after the explosion, and he tried to kill Kilgrave.
Yeah,
and with
the bomb,
and instead, you know, it backfired.
Yeah, I'll say
big time. Which, you know, of course he's stupid, so of course you know it's gonna, you know, affect in a negative way because he goes and jumps half-assed into things. But you know, his partner ends up quasi dying, and he ends up quasi dying.
Right.
And so they have to take the pills to get them back to the health, and now they're back on that addiction of taking those pills.
Do we think Trish is going to become a full-on superhero in future, like next season or something? Because I think she does in the comics at some point.
Yeah, I
forget her name, her like code name, but
there was one part where I did know the name for the one I was talking about it before, but there was one part where they were like showing like costumes and stuff, and and that costume signified like what Trish would wear in the comic books, what she wore in the comic books.
Right.
I believe it was like some purple diamond or something like that.
In the comic books, I think Jessica goes by the name Jewel. So I think that might have been a callback to that. She becomes...
Jessica.
Oh, okay.
Is Jessica.
Because I brought it up on my phone. So in the comic book, she was originally a teen model, and then, which they sort of have, like, she's like a child star, and then becomes a talk show host on the Netflix version. But later in the comic book, she became the superhero Hellcat.
Hellcat, yes.
So whether or not they bring that in, I mean, she's sort of a superhero already. Like, she's sort of Jessica's, not sidekick, but, like, she's a very
kind of
sort of. She's a very powerful ally, and then you have that moment where she finally
there through the whole thing.
Yeah, pretty much, and that's why I was worried they were going to kill her. I'm like, no. That if I was running the show, that's a character you keep around. Yeah, that's your Foggy. from Daredevil. That's like
exactly.
the best friend. Like, it's one of the only people that Jessica really cares about.
Exactly.
And then, they're flirting with the idea of her and Luke becoming a thing permanently, which they have time to develop that.
That won't be probably till, I would say, maybe the end of the second season.
When her and Luke are, like, together officially?
No, I mean that she actually becomes, like, a superhero. Yeah. Hellcat. I would say, like, end of season 2, season 3, that they decided to do that. Or, like, midway through season 2.
Well, that's a good transition. So we know that the schedule here is... Last year we got Daredevil Season 1, Jessica Jones Season 1. This year we're getting Daredevil Season 2, and then in September 30th we're getting Luke Cage is getting his own series, which now that I saw him on this thing, now I'm like, holy fuck, I want to see that now.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he was a great character. I didn't even know, I wasn't really that familiar with that actor beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think at various points there were people like Tyrese and like Terry Crews and all these other actors that were like, I want to be Luke Cage, and they cast this guy who was... more under the radar, and not really on anybody's like, this guy should be Luke Cage list. But he totally works, and I've seen,
I like him better than either of those other choices.
Yeah, I think...
because he fits the part better.
Plus...
he has that look like Luke
Plus,
Cage.
because he's not a huge star, he's not a name, you don't see him and immediately think, oh, it's fucking Terry Crews, the Old Spice guy in Expendables.
Yeah, exactly.
You see him and like, that's Luke Cage. And then, you could come to... It's easier to buy this actor in this role... because he slips more effortlessly into it because you're not bringing any baggage to it.
Plus, you don't have to pay him as much.
Well, that too.
Probably.
Well, that too. Also,
and he's more likely
but he's
to
also,
sign.
Yeah, he's a
for multiple seasons,
right.
And then maybe pictures and everything.
Right.
That's why I think they're going for more of the low key people.
But they're
because then you have
really
the people
well.
like the Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. that they want to just get out of their contracts and then pursue other things. But the people that are more low key, they want to be in this universe and play these characters, and they won't have to like bargain with them as much.
Right. Yeah.
As
and he's. I mean, I'm moderately familiar with the character in the comics, and he fits it perfectly. And you even get him early on in the season in that yellow, the yellow shirt and everything, like his outfit from the comics. So it's like a little homage to that. There's a lot of room to develop that, I think.
What do you think of their fight scene too? That was pretty.
Their
cool.
fight scene was good. The fight choreography on Jessica Jones overall was sort of lacking to me. I felt like that one part in, I don't know, it's episode 5 or 6 when Luke and Jessica are fighting those people in the bar. That's the fight scenes. The fight choreography is really off. And I was like, what the fuck?
Because
this is not. I mean, it wasn't very. Especially coming off of Daredevil. Daredevil's fight scenes are all like off the charts.
But
amazing.
that's the point, because Daredevil has that skill.
Right.
These people, they have super strength, so they don't. They're like I don't need this skill.
I just pick you up and throw you.
Yeah, I just use my own strength to destroy you.
Right.
And as Daredevil, he's lacking in that area.
That's a fair point.
So he requires a little bit more prowess, a little bit more technique. As these people, they get straight to it.
True. Okay.
So the choreography, it lacked because of the character, not because they're more brawlers.
Of
laziness.
They're more brawlers.
Exactly.
And Daredevil, like you said, because he has powers, he sees things, and he's like, extra senses, but he doesn't, he doesn't have super strength or super speed or anything. He's just like awesome. I guess that makes sense from a character standpoint, because one of the only fights that I felt was really like riveting was the Jessica versus Luke Cage, because they're more or less equals when it comes to strength.
Yeah, exactly.
So they have to be a little more creative with how they're going to fight, as opposed to just I lift you, I throw you,
exactly.
I punch this.
It would be like looking at the Hulk and being like, oh, why aren't you kicking that guy, Hulk?
Right.
You know what I mean?
True.
Because he's just there to just be a brute and destroy things.
Her powers are so subtle too. Like, she's got the power, like the punch, like the super strength, and the quasi flying.
Yeah.
So that when it comes, like those couple times in the season where she actually jumps out of things, you're like, holy shit, that's right, she can fly. I forgot. You don't expect it.
But even she says, she's like, it's not really flying. It's just like...
I know. That's why I say, I did it flying in air quotes.
Yeah.
I can't hear that on a podcast, obviously. Why. But yeah, she jumps really high, and it looks like flying.
Yeah.
So that was really good. So anyway, Luke Cage coming September 30th, and then I assume next year we're getting Iron Fist, now that they've cast Finn Jones from Game of Thrones, which I love to say because it rhymes. I don't know beyond that, I know we're getting the Defenders at some point, but if they're gonna, I don't know if they're gonna stick to 2 seasons of television a year, like this year and last, or are they gonna ramp it up? Because if so, what are we getting next year? We're getting season 2 of Jessica, Iron Fist, obviously, probably most likely they're gonna probably start shooting this year, and then Jessica Jones season 2, Daredevil season 3, Luke Cage season 2, the Defenders.
I feel like they would go probably Daredevil again.
Daredevil season 3, and that'll be their flagship.
Because I think that because he's the most well known, of course, of all those superheroes.
Right.
He has the best following. People like that show the best more than Jessica Jones in it.
I don't know if I'd say that. Jessica Jones got a similarly ecstatic reception. I think Daredevil is more commercial. I'll say that. It's easier to sell people on watching it because it's a superhero show. Yeah. Jessica Jones is way darker, and it's a character that most people are like, who the fuck is that? And it's got a very specific noir tone that might not really be everybody's cup of tea.
No, it's not that people didn't like it. They just didn't like it as much as Daredevil. That's what I'm trying to say.
I guess. I prefer Daredevil just because that's more my kind of superhero story.
It's just that they're different. And I probably like you said, it's a little bit more commercially acceptable.
Right.
But I think as far as storyline and stuff too, they could go a lot more with Daredevil too. Mm-hmm. Just because they've already created a base for all the characters that are in the show and
right.
So I think I feel like they would just stick with Daredevil and then maybe throw a one every year, every other year, then it'll be like Daredevil season 3, then the following year it'll be maybe Jessica Jones season 2, Daredevil season 4. How many
seasons of each show do you think we're going to get before they eventually do the Defenders?
Actually, it'd probably just be Daredevil season 3, and then they'll probably do Defenders.
Yeah, I would think the Defenders. I don't know what their plan is. I know Marvel has a lot of issues between the movie division and the TV division. They don't really get along. We get conflicting reports about that.
Yeah,
and it's probably why the movies don't acknowledge the TV shows, and TV shows are like, "This happened in the movies. Let's do an episode about it." But the movies are like, "No, Coulson's dead. Fuck you."
Well, you know what? Iron Fist could maybe extend into Daredevil, though, too.
Well, even better, I could see them doing... Obviously, Daredevil will probably continue, like you said. And then Jessica Jones is more of a question mark for me. But I could see them taking Luke Cage and Iron Fist, and instead of doing season 2 of either of those, put those together and have them be heroes for hire, because that's how the comic book is.
Yeah.
And just make a new show, Heroes for Hire,
yeah, they normally
with those
do
two
work
as a buddy type. And I think that might be what they're thinking long term. Because they have, you can do individual shows on them, but they really work as a team almost exclusively for at least that's what they're best known for, working with each other. So I wonder if they're just going to do Luke Cage and Iron Fist as introducing those characters, and then after the Defenders they'll be like, hey, let's hang out, and then they'll hire Heroes for Hire will be the equivalent of Luke Cage and Iron Fist season 2.
Because you're seeing a little bit more of the hand. Yeah. In Daredevil, and the hand extends to Iron Fist, essentially.
It's all hands, hand, Iron Fist, extending. I like all the metaphors there.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
It extends to Iron Fist. So, I feel like there's a way that they can maybe incorporate Daredevil as well into Iron Fist, or maybe even show Iron Fist somewhere in Daredevil,
right?
Or vice versa.
Well, once the Defenders happens, I'm sure it'll be open season, and they could all cross over wherever they want to cross over. Because the only crossover we had with Jessica Jones was Rosario Dawson showed up in one episode, being like, "Oh, I know a guy who's got powers too. I could patch you up."
Yeah, exactly.
Much. And that's just about as far as the connections went.
But wasn't it badass though?
Oh, it was.
Having that slight, even though it wasn't much, having just that little bit of a connection between the two shows.
I love Rosario Dawson. I like her to be in everything.
I didn't know she was going to be in it, so I was surprised.
Right.
When
snap!
I finally saw her.
I know that nurse.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll see.
I'm so pumped though for the March 18th.
Oh,
for of course, not Pee-wee, Daredevil.
If I was Marvel, I would time the Defenders in between the Infinity War films, or around the same time, because then you can have that team and then just go pop that team into Avengers films.
I don't know.
So we'll see. I don't know if they're going to
do that.
That's
a lot of superheroes.
But I'd like to see, I mean, if shit's going down, I don't know. I'd like to see Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and like these main four at least. I mean, I'm not saying Iron Man's going to bump into Karen Page, but like, hey, what's up? I know you from that show on Netflix.
Yeah.
But Daredevil should be there.
Maybe there could be like just like a scene of like as shit's going down, like Karen and like Foggy could be like watching it on the news, like in a montage type of situation. They'll go to like all of, like the supporting characters like watching it, being like, "Oh, and my God, what happened?"
And they have 2 movies for that Thanos storyline.
Yeah,
of course, obviously Daredevil's not gonna be like, "I'm going to space to fight Thanos," but you could establish subplots in that movie and have him, I mean, you could easily have something going on in that film that's on more of a street level, like Thanos sends another army or some shit. And Daredevil and them have to... You could even have the Defenders show be about whatever the Defenders are dealing with that is sort of a subplot of the Avengers Infinity War films.
That would be cool.
You can even do that.
Yeah.
And have like Thanos send somebody to cause shit and then in New York, and then you have like 6, 7, 10 episodes, however many you're going to do for that.
I'm still hoping that Daredevil's in Civil War, but I doubt that would happen.
I don't think so. I doubt it too.
That would be so awesome.
It would be so awesome.
If at least Daredevil was in it, because Jessica Jones, she's not about like that publicity.
Yeah.
And Daredevil isn't really, but Daredevil would be. I figure that Daredevil will be one of the first ones that they would push him into.
Like you said, he's the most recognizable. Daredevil has worked with Spider-Man before, and now we know Spider-Man's in. Spider-Man's also, that's the other thing too. Yeah, the Avengers take on the crazy shit, but Spider-Man's been an Avenger at certain points. But for the most part, Spider-Man's like, I protect New York. What up? So how different really is Spider-Man from the Defenders, other than in order to put Spider-Man on screen, you need a bigger budget because he swings around the city and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Other than that, he's very low. He's like a city-based hero, and so are the Netflix people, whereas the Hulk and Iron Man and Thor and Captain America, they're like, we're saving the world, we ain't got time for this mess.
Exactly.
But so just March 18th, this Friday, Daredevil's hitting Netflix. I'm assuming it's another 13 episodes, right?
Yeah, I would assume
So we'll be watching the first few on Friday, posting a podcast Friday night, so keep an eye out for that. We're super pumped to see what's going to go down, especially since I think there's a fair chance that probably Monday or Tuesday they'll be like, guess what? Daredevil season 3, and guess what? Punisher, what up?
After the feedback comes back from
after everybody watches that.
I'm sure everyone's gonna binge watch it the first day.
Let's put it this way. When Fuller House dropped on a Friday, Kai and I watched the whole thing like that first week or whatever.
Yeah.
Soon after, I think we were even still watching it, or we had just finished it like the day or two before, and they're like, guess what? Season 2, guys.
For Fuller House?
For Fuller House. So they're renewing Fuller House for season 2. I'm pretty sure they're going to act very quick on this, because there's lots of people like us who are waiting with bated breath, being like, Daredevil. When is that day? Is it almost here? I'm clearing my Friday schedule so I can watch it.
Exactly.
So that'll definitely be the most streamed thing on Netflix this coming weekend. It might fucking crash because everybody's watching it.
Yeah.
And that they're looking to, they wouldn't bring Punisher into it unless they were it's sort of testing ground for, let's see if Punisher can be his own thing.
Sort of like a focus group of sorts.
Yeah, a little bit. So Punisher, I'm hugely expecting a Punisher show to be announced by the end of the month, probably. If not,
so you think it would be? Do you think it'll be like the team up, and then Punisher?
I don't know. See, now I don't know how they
like
fit all
Iron
in.
Fist, sort of like team up with Punisher.
Or could they ramp up? Do they have enough money to ramp up their production, or do they want to spend it? I mean, they have enough money. Do they want to spend enough money to ramp up production to do like 3 seasons of shows? So like one in like February, one in like July, and then one in like November or something. Spread it throughout, sort of like the movies are doing.
Yeah,
with 2 big movies, like for the most part, 2 or 3 movies a year. But yeah, I mean, Punisher's probably going to happen. People love the character of the Punisher. And I wouldn't be surprised, I said this before on the podcast, if Elektra ends up getting one at some point, too.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't see that one for a while, though.
That one might not happen right off the bat.
If anyone, they'll do Punisher first.
Punisher will be the priority for sure. Because, again, he's more marketable. We all know who the Punisher is. He's been in 3 shitty movies. This will probably be the first time that we actually see a live-action version of the Punisher that works.
Yeah.
Like, that works completely. Because those other ones, you're like, oh, this part's cool and this part's cool, but what the hell's going on the rest of it? This will be the first time you're like, that guy, give him a show because he looks the part.
Or a movie or something. Just give him something, yeah.
But I mean, here's a good question, though. if these Daredevil and Jessica Jones, all these shows are so great, would you even want to see a movie? Would you even give a shit about a movie? Do you really want to see Daredevil in a movie in theaters for 2 hours when you get 13 hours every year? I mean,
I would rather see it in a show. Actually, I would rather see all of them in a show.
Right. Yeah. Pretty much.
And just
especially when it's this good. If the show was 22 episodes, like I love Gotham, I was saying that earlier, but like some of those episodes you could squeeze that shit down. You don't need 22 episodes of television, but 10 to 13 episodes, it's perfect length to tell a good story. Keep us riveted the whole time. Be like, we out. That's
what like British people do.
That's what Game of Thrones does. A lot of like the shows that are most critically acclaimed, you'll notice they do 10.
Well, HBO does.
Well, HBO, but Netflix, all the Netflix shows are doing that.
Yeah, HBO. I think most of their seasons have like it's very short,
10 or 13.
Yeah, it's very short seasons.
It's perfect length for an episode.
But that's what British television does most of the time. They only do like 4 chapters. Yeah, but like 2 or 3. Hours long each or something, and then or sometimes it's like 13 episodes or something similar
or less, or they're like 6 episodes, or like Sherlock season 1 is like 4 hours and we're like done.
Yeah, it's like I think with Sherlock there's like either 3 or 4 episodes, and then it's like 2 hours or an hour and a half per episode,
and they do a Christmas special, and that's about it.
Yeah,
they're like, this is it. We'll see you whenever we see you.
But
they treat them more like miniseries, and I like that approach. I think that makes more sense.
Speaking of miniseries, there's a Tom Hiddleston, Hugh Laurie one that's coming out on AMC. I don't really know what it's about, but it looks cool.
But it's got Tom Hiddleston. It's got Loki and House.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm down.
Yeah, they're both really good actors.
Yeah, they are.
I don't really know what it has to do about, but I saw like the trailer briefly while I was watching The Walking Dead. It's just on AMC. And it looked good from what I saw, even though I didn't know what I was seeing.
Right. You're like, I don't know what this is.
And I love the actors, so I'm gonna watch it. And it's a 6-episode miniseries. So
interesting. Yeah, television.
I'm definitely gonna watch.
Television in general seems to be moving in that direction, and that makes me really happy, especially for hour-long shows.
Yeah, exactly.
Hour-long. I mean, if you're gonna do a comedy, then
you go to 22 if you're doing a sitcom. I
mean, if you want, I feel like you can get away with that more in a comedy, because it's just like, this week this person left their wallet at home, and what are they gonna do?
There's not as much of a storyline.
Yeah, it's not as serialized.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. Like there's a serial. Sometimes there's like it is a little bit serialized, but it's not like. It's like you get a little bit each episode.
No, it's like, are these two gonna end up together? We'll have to see.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like that. It's not Jessica Jones and like this ongoing multiple thread storyline where you got the thing with Hope Schlottman, you got her relationship with Luke Cage, you got the thing with Jerry Hogarth and her like divorce situation, you got the Malcolm storyline and the support group, and there's like so many moving pieces that all kind of come into play by the end of it.
Yeah.
But if you do that over 22 episodes, you just have to... Yeah, exactly. There's more stuff I didn't even mention. The thing with the cop and like...
There's more subtle things that you can add in there too.
Yeah, oh my god, there's a bunch of stuff going on. But...
Pick a character and you can
spread that out over 20... It's very hard to spread that out over 22 episodes. I mean, look, the most serialized show on broadcast like main network television in the last decade or so is Lost, probably, because that's like super serialized. Like you watch every episode and you're still like, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Well, that's because there's like 30 characters on that
show. but even with that show, there are episodes where you're like, nothing happened. What the hell? Why am I watching this?
Yeah, that's true.
You had like the last 2 minutes something of note happened, so that they can go and make you sit there with your jaw down and be like, what the hell? But like the episode where they like, this is how Jack got his tattoos. It's like, I don't care. Move forward. Who are the others? What's the island? All the questions that they never really answered on that show.
Exactly.
So I'm really excited to see the Netflix Marvel presence develop to the point that I'm so excited about that I'm just like, do I really want to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore, or Agent Carter? I'm just like,
I haven't watched any of that, just because it's...
I watched the first 2 seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I just haven't watched this season yet. And maybe when it comes on Netflix streaming, maybe I'll be like, okay, we'll give you a shot. But it's just, it doesn't seem as much of a priority, because they do the 22-episode dragging shit out thing that I don't like.
Yeah.
I mean, not Agent Carter. Agent Carter's more like 6 episodes, 10 episodes, or whatever. But yeah, Daredevil season 2 coming Friday. We're excited about it, as you can tell, and you'll be hearing our thoughts on Friday night. We'll be posting the episode.
Yeah.
With I think we're gonna watch the first 3, 4, 5, something like that. The first few, at least.
The first few.
And then we'll come back on Friday with our thoughts. Watching all 13 in that shorter period is kind of intense, but but that should be fun.
Are we gonna watch them and then do a podcast after?
Yeah,
Are we gonna do it after each episode?
How
do you want to do it?
I think we could watch it all in one chunk. Maybe I might have a notepad and be like, oh shit, I want to talk about that.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. But yeah, then we'll watch them all in a row because we're not. I mean, what did I just say about Jessica Jones? You're not gonna want to be like, all right, pause this. Let's go upstairs, record something, and then come back and be like, fuck no. Let Netflix do its little.
But if they wanted to watch it with us,
yeah, but
then they could follow the podcast with us talking about it.
We're not gonna record the whole podcast though, like the whole thing while we're watching it. That's the longest podcast ever.
No, I mean like. No, not while we're watching it. Like after. Like we watch the first episode and we'll come back like, holy crap, Punisher just did this and Daredevil just did this and Foggy just saw him on the floor bleeding.
I have a feeling that most people that are that excited to watch this show and would be the people that would want to hear a podcast about.
They're not going to want to wait.
Yeah, they're going to want to finish. They're going to want to keep watching the episodes and then catch up with you when they're like their Netflix is like, are you still there? Like, you're judging me. All right, fine.
They're gonna be like, I don't want to take a break in between each episode to listen to you guys talk. Yeah. I just want to go from one to the next, to the next, to the next. I don't even want to wait 15 seconds for it to go to the next one. I just want to press.
Netflix does that little next episode starting in this many seconds. I'm like, too many seconds. Let's go. I ain't got time for this.
Wasting.
Did you see what just happened?
By the end of this season, I'll wasted 3 minutes of my life. Or more, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
5 minutes of my life.
I also wanted to mention too about this month I'm actually doing Loot Crate for the first time.
Loot Crate, yeah.
Yeah, after finally going on, hearing it advertised on podcasts and YouTube channels and blah blah blah. I'm like, Loot Crate,
and this is
sign
not
up for
10% off.
No, I don't have an affiliate deal with Loot Crate, but I mean, maybe I should get one. We'll see. So this month's theme is verses. You know what Loot Crate is?
A little bit, not really.
Okay, well,
so
every
much.
month they send you a bunch of geeky stuff. It might be a t-shirt, it might be some pair of socks, it might be like a little toy thing and whatever, little collectibles for people that are into, geek culture and gaming. So sci-fi, video games, horror, comic books, fantasy, all that stuff.
Okay.
So every month has a theme and it's $20 a month. And again, this is not sponsored. I'm not getting any money. I'm just explaining it to Freddie. It sounds like a commercial for it.
It does.
Loot Crate. What is Loot Crate? What is this Loot Crate about?
In fact, we should not be talking about this just because...
Screw you guys. Give us money first.
Just because we're giving them free advertisement.
That's true.
And we're not getting out of anything out of this.
Not yet. We'll see. Maybe I'm also the type that if we were to do affiliate marketing and that kind of thing, I wouldn't want to promote anything that I haven't tried myself. Like, I'm not gonna be like, you guys should do this, 10% off. It sucks though. I want to try it out myself first.
Then you want to give your honest opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
About it.
I don't want to be advocating for something that I think is shitty.
Exactly.
So I don't have an opinion about Loot Crate just yet. So every month they have a theme and they send you a box of stuff. So this month's theme is verses, because of Batman v Superman.
Oh, sweet.
So some of the products involved are going to be something with Batman v Superman, obviously. Something with Daredevil and Punisher. Something with Star Trek. Something with Alien vs. Predator and that kind of thing.
Are there going to be any, Civil War stuff in there?
I don't know. I think some people think that they might hold off on that until May.
Yeah.
Because that's when Civil War happens. So maybe war will be the theme that month or something.
That's so cool.
Because if you do a war theme, then you could put in, like, it's a Civil War, like, shirt. And then it's, like, this little doodad from... I don't know, Aliens. That's a war film movie, that kind of thing. I don't know what they're gonna do. But the previous ones they had, you can actually go back and buy the older, like the last few months. They sell them online. Yeah. And I might buy, I think the October one, because October was the Back to the Future day.
Yeah.
So that theme was time. So it has like a little like pop vinyl. Doc Brown toy.
Oh,
where he's holding the cords, with the big heads.
Big heads, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like holding the cord wires.
I saw Bernie Sanders one. That one made me
really?
laugh. Yeah,
that's funny.
because it just looks so outrageous.
Yeah.
Seeing with the big head and everything. It's so funny.
So it has the pop vinyl Doc Brown. It has a Bill and Ted t-shirt.
That's cool.
It's got I forget, something else back to, a little tiny hoverboard thing that you can put on your desk, like that kind. It's that kind of random shit.
Does it have time machine? I don't know if that's geeky.
Yeah, I don't know.
The time machine.
I mean, it is. That is geeky, but that's reaching far back.
I feel like a lot of geeks though would love that book.
Yeah.
And
they have a Doctor Who thing
and the movie,
stuff.
maybe even.
Yeah.
A little bit too.
So,
it's been a while since I've seen that. But
every month they have a different theme, and like I said, this one is Versus. So when I saw that and hearing it advertised so much, and I was like, all right, maybe this is the one I want to give it a shot, because it's saying we're gonna have Daredevil stuff and Batman stuff and Alien vs Predators. And I'm like, I like all that. Let's roll with it. So at some point when I get that, before I open it, I'm sure I will sit in front of a camera, like the old cliche that I am, and do an unboxing video and put that up on our YouTube channel, and give my honest feedback on each item as I open it. So that should be fun though, and it's, like I said, $20 a month. And
what if you sign up for it when the month comes? Do you still get the Versus?
Oh, when that one's sent out?
Yeah.
No, they're smarter.
Once
than that.
It's sent out, that's it.
Yeah, pretty much. And every advertisement I hear is like, "Oh, once you sign up, I think it's like the 19th. I think is when they're. That's the cutoff for this.
That sucks.
Yeah. Unless you go on the website and they're selling the old ones.
So if you do your unboxing thing, people are gonna see you and they'll be like, "Oh, motherfucker, I should have signed up."
Yeah, and you'd be surprised. I mean, am I doing the unboxing because like a blatant appeal to get views? A little bit. But it's also like, it's the first time I've done it, and that's be interesting to kind of throw it out there.
Or
a lot of people like, that's what they do. They do unboxing videos for random shit, for toys, for
that's true.
Whatever, or for Loot Crate.
That's true.
And then they're like, oh, hit Loot Crate, 10% code at the bottom.
There's a YouTube video where they just buy toys.
Yeah.
And then you see them play with it.
Oh, and then there's so many of them.
And there's people that watch these people just play with toys.
Because some people want
to playing with the toys themselves.
Some people, sort of, and some people want, some people watch unboxing videos to get a sense of like what's in the Loot Crate.
Exactly.
In this case, or to get a sense of what's the packaging like, or what's the detail of it, and they hold it to the camera, and you can decide if you want to order it on Amazon besides having to go to a store.
Yeah.
You get more information about a product, and that makes sense.
Do they create this stuff themselves, or
some of the items are exclusive. Like Loot Crate is the only one.
Like from the studio, sort of.
Yeah, it's officially licensed I hit the mic. It's officially licensed merchandise.
Okay, great.
And some of it's exclusive only with Loot Crate. So.
I would think so, because they can't use their likenesses or anything without
Marvel will sue your ass.
Exactly. So if you have to have like the studio permission. That's really cool, though.
Yeah. So when that happens, I'll let you know what it should be getting at. I would think the 20-something of the month.
Okay.
So keep an eye out for that unboxing video on our YouTube channel.
All right. What's the YouTube channel? I
don't have a. I want to get a youtube.com/crooked table, but you have to hit certain benchmarks in order to get there. So right now
you haven't reached.
Right now your best bet is either go to youtube.com and then type in Crooked Table and find our channel. Everyone knows, if you're all listening to this, you know what our logo looks like. Or go to crookedtable.com and get to videos, or contact us, and there's ways of finding it.
All right, so you just go to the website.
Go to crookedtable.com.
If all else fails.
crookedtable.com, there's a video tab at the top.
So if you have any, if you want some like pleasure for your ears, pleasure for your eyes.
Well, that's the thing. We're expanding out and trying to do.
I guess more eyes.
Exactly. If you're a spider and you have multiple eyes, you can satisfy all your eyes.
Because I was like, okay, we have the listenings done, then we have the videos done, and then I guess the
next thing is like
video with the writing.
Scratch and sniff articles, like, and for your nose.
This is what we smelled like when we did this podcast.
All sweaty because we're in Florida and it's hot here.
It's really hot today.
No, that's the idea, to have articles and podcasts and videos and kind of expand that out. And it seems like now we're getting to a regular schedule with the podcast, so that helps as far as keeping the listeners attuned to the Crooked Table podcast coming up Tuesdays for the most part, unless we're doing a bonus episode. So
which is Friday.
Yeah, and I'll actually label it as a bonus episode since we have a schedule, and now this is not in the schedule.
I mean, we'll still do an episode though, right? It'll be like
episode. We'll do but it's a bonus.
But it's technically a bonus one because
exactly.
it's our unusual day.
Yeah, and it'll be all Daredevil.
And we're still gonna have one the following Tuesday. Yeah. So you get
And what's that one going to be about? We were talking about this
earlier. Yeah, it's going to be about all Netflix original motion pictures.
And again, we're not an affiliate with Netflix. We just like talking about stuff, and Netflix makes good things to talk about.
Netflix constantly is throwing treasure after treasure, and they always have something going on. Especially lately, I feel like this week comes. Oh, there's another new TV show.
Pretty much.
Oh, there's another new TV show. Oh, there's an original motion picture. Oh, there's the Daredevil thing.
Yeah, I read something
and
ridiculous.
Pee-wee and all this stuff.
I read something ridiculous about how much content they want to produce every year. And I think it was 30 something or other. Like, a lot of stuff. Every year, every month they have, here's your teaser, here's a movie that we made, or that we're distributing exclusively, whatever. And here's a TV show. And then, because, last month they just had Fuller House. Now they're dropping Daredevil. And the same day they're dropping the Pee-wee movie. So I think what we're looking at is for next Tuesday we're going to talk about...
Pee-wee?
Yeah, well, what movies we said we want to talk about.
Oh, we're going to talk about Crouching Tiger, Beast of No Nation. That one's been out a little bit, but, we're going to talk about all, the more recent original motion pictures.
And we could talk about whether or not Beast of No Nation was Oscar-worthy. After we watch it and we see Idris Elba's performance, are we going to be
the kids.
The fuck, man?
And the kids' performance.
Oscar's so white.
As I heard, the kids' performance might be even better.
Yeah, I heard a lot about him, too.
So, I love Idris Elba.
Yeah, he's great and everything.
He's so good. I saw Luther.
Oh, you watched that?
Amazing. He has a movie coming up. He looks amazing. Pacific Rim, amazing.
What movie is he coming out?
I don't remember the name of the film, but I saw that he was in it.
So you're basically anybody from Marvel. You're like Tom Hiddleston, sold.
Yeah.
Idris Elba, sold.
Yeah, there's certain actors that if I see that they're in it, I'm just like, okay.
And it's
just give me a date and I'll be there.
And it's a testament. It's a testament to how good Marvel is at casting people. It's not just because we're like, that guy was Loki, I want to see him and stuff.
Oh,
it's just because Marvel picks really good actors. It's not because we're just like Marvel zombies and we'll just like, I'll see Charlie Cox in anything because he was Daredevil. So no, I'll see Charlie Cox in anything because he's a good actor.
Yeah, that's true.
I saw him in Stardust and I thought he was great in that. I was excited about Daredevil because he was in Stardust.
Well, let's just put this. I'm not watching the Idris Elba film strictly because he was Heimdall.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
He hasn't had any really significant role in the Marvel movies that I'm like, oh, that's Heimdall. I have to go see.
He was cool though. He's a cool character.
He's a cool character,
but he doesn't have any depth.
But maybe in Ragnarok. I think
they're probably gonna kill him in Ragnarok because I think Idris Elba was like, I don't want to be a part of these movies. They're a pain in the ass to make. I'm Idris Elba, goddammit. And I think they're like, all right, well, somebody's gonna die here because it's like the apocalypse. So I wouldn't be surprised if Odin bites it too.
And maybe Loki.
Oh man, I hope not. I want to see Avengers Infinity War. I want to see like Civil War. One side, all the Avengers.
So
yeah. Oh my god. People will like cut themselves and be like, no,
it'll be like Daryl on The Walking Dead. God. If someone kills, there's T-shirts and mugs that say "If Daryl dies, we riot."
Yeah, I know.
I'm sure there's a whole. Huh? Yeah, I do have one.
You're like, there's mugs out there. People are serious. I'm like,
I'm not one of them.
Yeah,
but
not me, but people. I don't know. It's crazy.
There's other people out there that have these mugs and such. Yeah, I do have a mug.
Yeah, though. I know you do. I've seen it. I'm like, hey, don't lie, man.
It's my favorite mug. It's one of my only mugs, but it's my favorite one because I like the.
You like? I believe in this message. You like? I'm Freddy Anderson.
I do. I love Daryl a lot, and I like the little crossbow thing.
Handle.
It's like a handle.
It's pretty cool.
A crossbow handle.
It is pretty cool.
Anyways, so yeah, if they killed Loki, of course there would be people that go crazy. But I wouldn't be surprised if that did happen in Ragnarok or even the Infinity War.
I don't think he's gonna make it there, but yeah.
I don't think so either. But
Idris Elba. Awesome.
Idris Elba, amazing. Maybe on Friday I'll find out what movie he's actually in.
There you go.
Because right now I'm like, well, he's in this and he's in this, but I don't really know. So
Beast of No Nation, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Sword of Destiny, which you saw already, right?
Sword of Destiny. What?
Crouching Tiger.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And then Pee-wee's Big Holiday, which also drops Friday, and I'm a big Pee-wee fan, having grown up with Pee-wee's Playhouse and Pee-wee's Big Adventure. So I'm cautiously optimistic on Big Holiday. I'm worried it's going to not be good, but it's still Pee-wee. I'll take it, whatever. But so that'll be coming next Tuesday, and the Daredevil episode on Friday. when Netflix drops Daredevil.
This dude, Idris Elba, he's got it going on. I'm looking at his movies right now for this year. He's got The Jungle Book.
Oh, yeah, Shere Khan.
He's got Finding Dory.
Wow, Disney likes him. Basically, Disney, you're going to put him in Star Wars, too?
He's got
Star Trek?
He's got Star Trek. And he was in Zootopia.
Oh, yeah, he was. You still haven't seen that?
No, I still
What the hell?
Bastille Day.
Bastille Day, okay.
I think it's like an action movie of sorts.
Now I feel bad.
But he looks so cool in that movie. And I think he actually has this real British accent. I don't think he's doing like the fake American accent. Right. So I was like, oh, okay, good for you. You're actually... You know, you don't hear him doing his actual British accent.
More and more you are now.
Yeah, but not as much.
Right.
Because before, Pacific Rim and his other movies that were coming out, I didn't really hear much of his British. It wasn't until Luther that I knew he was British.
Really? Oh, wow.
Because all the things that I had previously seen him in, or at least that I acknowledged that I was watching Idris Elba.
Uh-huh. I saw him in that...
I didn't, realize that he was... it was always American accents.
Right. I saw him in that Obsessed movie with Beyonce, like in 2006, 7 or something like that. And I didn't realize that was him until, after Pacific Rim and all that. I was like, oh my God, that's that guy? He was in that. I didn't realize that was Idris Elba.
Yeah, it's like watching Love Actually and being like, oh, Rick! That's Rick!
Rick's in love with Keira Knightley.
So, I think there was another one from Walking Dead that was in that, wasn't there?
I don't think so. Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe.
There's so many people in that movie.
It's hard to keep track.
Pretty much. It's like
Morgan is British too?
Huh?
Oh, you don't know who Morgan is. You don't watch Walking Dead.
I don't watch Walking Dead.
I wish you did watch Walking Dead,
because
then we could talk about this. And there's a lot of a Walking Dead following.
Oh, damn straight there. They have a whole show that airs after Walking Dead to be like, let's talk about what we just saw.
Yeah, and then there's going to be...
Jeffrey Dean Morgan's coming
Then there's
now.
Fear the Walking Dead.
Is he on it now?
What?
Jeffrey Dean Morgan, has he been introduced already?
Oh, the guy that played John Winchester.
Yeah, the comedian.
No, he's not. They have 3 episodes left. So he's going to be probably like in one of the last episodes.
Introduced and then, yeah.
Introduced as the bad guy and then...
Is this the end of the season?
It's the end. Man. It's 3 episodes till the end.
Wow, that sucks. So they're going to be like, here's this awesome character. Now you have to wait till next year. That's fucked up. That's fucked probably. Up, AMC.
I wouldn't be surprised like the next episode they decide to do it, because right now they're coming from a lull back from like something that really significant happened. Right. So whenever they do a lull, and then some fucked up other thing happens. You know what I mean?
Sounds about right.
Like any other show.
Yeah,
you know? There's like lull between shit happening. Always. Because they have to have some story for the actual people when there's quiet time, not just like shit happening, the whole time. Then it's just like you gotta have that like that roller coaster,
pretty much
sort of thing. But I wish I could talk about it because of Sunday's episode and everything. But I feel like something really big is gonna happen on that show, and there's gonna be a lot of people that get killed off, because it's like people are dying, but not as much. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's gonna end on like a really like huge catastrophe.
So they're saving their death quota for the last couple episodes.
I feel like the last few episodes it's gonna be like 5 deaths, and probably a few significant ones in there.
Interesting.
Or a couple significant ones in there. So that's my prediction. Because it's looking... I mean, there's people dying, but it's looking almost... For The Walking Dead, it's looking like almost too hopeful. Mm-hmm. And the group is getting almost too powerful that you kind of have to find the line between, like, are they going to meet their match soon? And I think that they are. Even though they seem like they're being the domineering group, of course, because it's all about the movie. The whole show's about surviving and stuff.
Of course.
But I'm trying not to spoil anything for you when you watch the show, which I hope that you watch the show, because then we could start talking about it.
As long as Daryl is okay, you're like, what else? And Rick, I guess.
Yeah, and there's other people too added to that, but I think within like the next 1 or 2 episodes, then you're really gonna see, like, people are gonna
The dead will not be walking. The dead will be laying down.
Then that's when Talking Dead really comes in handy, because the Talking Dead is like to talk about all like the sadness and stuff. It's like, as Chris Hardwick says, it's like the therapy session.
Let's deal with our grief.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I love Chris Hardwick. He's amazing. He does so much stuff. That guy.
I know.
He's gonna do talking the Fear the Walking Dead.
Oh, Fear the Talking Dead.
I think no. Is it? I think he does Talking Sal or something. He's gonna do Talking Sal or something like that. He's gonna do another talking though. Like another talking, like talk show type thing.
Right.
So he's going to do Walking Dead, and then he's going to do like, I think it's Talking Saw.
Or something, yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, Fear the Walking Dead. I don't know if he's going to do it for that too. They never do it for the first season, but then once the second season starts, then that's when they do the talking type thing.
Right.
So, yeah. But Fear the Walking Dead is another good show, though. And I'm just going to say that. People should watch it.
So if you want to talk about The Walking Dead, send a tweet at Freddy_Yaniz, Yaniz.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I mean, I have no one else to talk to.
Oh, sorry. Well, you don't watch... what do I watch?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
No, I don't watch that anymore. You don't watch the Muppets. I watch that.
Did you catch up with that?
Yes.
You did?
Yes, I did.
You were so behind on it. I thought.
No, I'm on. That is the only one other than Gotham, which I write reviews for. Muppets is the only show that I watch.
I watch more TV shows than almost more than I watch movies sometimes.
Yeah, see, I don't.
Just because of the consistency. I like the consistency. And I like that sometimes television storylines are even better than movie storylines.
Depends on the show and
just because they can, yeah, of course. Just because they can delve into the characters a little bit more. They have
13 or 22 episodes.
Yeah, and then they can go into it over multiple seasons too. So you have even more of a story arc for the character,
right?
Of course. But Archer's coming up too. I don't know, you don't watch that, but
I watched a couple episodes of it at one point.
Once you get into it, it's really funny. But anyways, it's coming out at the end of the month.
Yeah,
for people.
Is there anything else we need to touch on this episode? Are we good?
Yeah. We talked about Loot Crate. We talked about I think
Jessica Jones, 10 Cloverfield Lane.
But another thing I want to add about Loot Crate, I think it's interesting about how more and more we're seeing like these like boxed.
There's like, a bunch of them now.
There's a bunch of them.
Geek Fuel. There's
Geek Fuel, not just for like geek
comic
stuff
bento
though.
Box,
not even necessarily just for geek stuff. There's Trunk Club that sends you like outfits, whole outfits in the mail, and you can decide whether or not you want to keep it.
Right.
There's Bark Box, which my dog gets. Yeah. He got as a gift.
They have a Loot Crate like for pets too.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So
they like Loot Crate has like Loot Pets or something. They have
so it's like geek stuff for your pet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
So you can get like I
would be more likely to get that from.
You can get like a leash and it's got I don't know, Walking Dead or something on it, whatever random stuff.
Oh, that'd be.
So yeah. Yeah, and Kai was even telling me that there's something like that, for women, like clothes and stuff.
It's gonna come to the point where you won't even have to leave your house.
Oh, it's already at that point.
Because you can even get groceries.
Oh yeah,
in boxes like that.
What is that? Amazon Fresh or something? Amazon has.
Well, there's multiple ones like that too.
But Amazon's always the biggest of everything retail online, pretty much.
Yeah, but it's always been like you can't you don't have to leave your house to do anything, but it's also becoming more of like, okay, we're going to just package it for you so you don't have to think about what you want.
People are willing
We're just going to do that. And
people are willing to
have
pay
a
for
membership.
Convenience.
Yeah, if you just subscribe to us, we'll just give it to you.
Well, plus that's with the mystery box type things. That's just it's the fun of being like, ooh, I got a package. What's in it? Ooh. People love that.
That's true.
Getting mail and being like, oh my God. It's like the next best thing people like getting in the mail other than like checks, basically. It's surprise presents. I mean, it's a surprise that you bought for yourself, but you don't know what it is exactly, so you can still get excited. It's like Christmas morning every month, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's smart. But yeah, stay tuned for all of that. The unboxing video. I feel like we have a lot of different things coming down the pike now.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we have the next episode with Daredevil. We're gonna watch a few episodes. Yeah, that's Friday. Friday night it's gonna be posted.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do that. And then we're gonna do notes while we're watching it, so we can go extensively. Yeah, talking points. And then the next episode, following Tuesday, is going to be our Netflix original motion picture podcast.
Beast of No Nation, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Sword of Destiny, and Pee-wee's Big Holiday.
Yeah, we're going to go into Pee-wee as well, because that...
We're not going to go into Pee-wee. We're going to talk about Pee-wee.
Pee-wee will probably be more likely going into us.
Yeah, possibly. Poor Pee-wee.
If we see his track record... He's
it's kind of ridiculous that ruined his career, but we'll get into more Pee-wee's talk when we talk about it.
It's not ridiculous because
because it's a kid's star.
It's a kid's TV show.
But at the same time, it's like I whipped it out, and like, well, okay, don't do that. But
it's like that
because of that, he became like a national joke for like 20 years. You know,
yeah, maybe not extend the joke for 20 years. But like that, it was like some girl in iCarly that she had like a nude picture that came up, and then she got fired from the show because she had the nude picture come up. I mean,
it wasn't her fault. She didn't leak it herself. I mean,
yeah, but you're on a network that goes for kids.
Yeah.
If the kids saw that or heard about it or anything, it's you're like their role model. You don't want to set that example for kids, especially kids that they're very impressionable, so and it's not like our culture is accepting to that stuff in the first place. So it'd be a whole different story if we were accepting to sexuality and stuff like that we would be like, okay, well, it's not as big of a thing because children were raised in a culture where we aren't afraid of sexuality or anything. But it's very much so that, we are. We're not like European countries and stuff like that.
It's like with Kevin Clash, who's the puppeteer who did Elmo. He got fired because of all the sex abuse scandal going on and lawsuits and stuff.
Yeah, and he's played Elmo for
a long time.
For a really long time.
Yeah.
Decades.
Yeah, basically. So it's like that. But
I watched a documentary about him. He's awesome.
Is that Being Elmo?
Yeah, Being Elmo.
I've been meaning to watch that forever. It's a lot of documentaries fun. I want to make time for, but then something else. Daredevil season 2 comes out or something, and I'm like, well, okay, that gets put back, and then eventually it's like not on Netflix anymore, or the DVD has to go back to the library because I take stuff out.
I don't blame you if it was between Daredevil season 2.
I know, but it's like there's always other things. There's such a constant bombardment of content. It's like there's so much content I want to consume, and plus I have to make money
and be productive.
Plus I want to produce stuff like making the podcast and making videos, and I don't have time to take in everything.
Yeah, you want to watch everything, but at the same time, entertainment is very time consuming.
Right.
So you want to do stuff on the side.
Plus, it's not only
keep
exactly. You have to balance
between the two. Yeah.
Plus, it's not only movies and the few shows I do watch. It's also YouTube and podcasts and I don't know, reading articles online and social media, and there's a lot of things going on. But anyway, I feel like we're overextended at this point. So yes, Friday. Stay tuned for our next episode. And do we have an encore this week? I think we can skip this one.
Yeah, we're gonna skip this week with encore, but we'll be back next week.
Oh,
or Friday.
Maybe Friday or Tuesday. We'll see.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, you should just be happy that you're getting an extra podcast.
Yeah, you're welcome, America or world, whoever. If you're international and you're downloading this, I love you guys just as much as our U.S. listeners. So don't take any offense to that. So I think that'll about do it for us. You can find us on crookedtable.com. Videos, podcasts, reviews, and then, like I say in the video, other movie-related goodies. You can find me on Twitter at crookedtable.
And you could find me on Twitter at Freddy with a Y _ Yanez YANIZ. And I think I should get more followers though.
Yeah,
I really think I should.
What's up with that?
Because I think
you don't tweet enough. You got to tweet.
I don't tweet enough.
Tweet things in hashtag.
But when I do tweet, where's my phone?
I don't know. This is why you don't have followers. You're like, you don't tweet because you don't know where your phone is.
Because I can never find my phone.
Yeah, basically.
No, but when I do tweet, I tweet gold. And I'm not just doing like a Kanye West
that was one of the best tweets of all time.
I do one of the best tweets of all time.
Oh my god, Kanye West Twitter, by the way, is like always ridiculous.
Yeah.
While we're on the topic of Twitter, we could do a whole other podcast about social media stuff.
But let's go into some of my tweets, and I may not fill up your feed, but when you do see my tweets, you'll be like, haha, that's silly, man. A little tiff. You'll have tiffs, exactly. Well, let's go to ones where I'm not talking to people. Okay. All right.
Most recent one. Read the most recent one. What are you, searching through your tweet history? Jeez.
Sometimes they can be tweets of enlightenment. Clothes are like a peacock's feathers. They provide a first impression and supplement in the lure of mates. Hashtag keep it classy. Hashtag everyday mindfuck.
There you go.
So, like, tweets of enlightenment, or it could be funny tweets. The evil queen from Snow White has a magic mirror. We have Google. Hashtag Google's amazing.
Do you Google yourself often? Is that what that's about?
Do
you Google yourself? You're like, I want to see.
No,
like,
but like,
Google,
you ever have a question
on the net? Who's the coolest? Me, I bet.
No, but like, you have a question, you go to Google. That's like if the queen has a question, she's like, mirror, mirror on the wall.
Okay, that's true.
Who's the fairest of them all? And then be like, oh, you, of course. Or something silly like, oh.
I like how the Shrek version of Magic Mirror seems like it's like your go-to.
Well, yeah. I think that's everyone's go-to.
That's true. Okay.
Or they'd be like, oh, how many teeth are in our mouth?
Hey, Siri.
Exactly, Siri's. That would have been better for my tweet.
You should have me like editing your tweets.
Yeah, but it's like sometimes it's like observational stuff, of course.
Yeah.
But some of it's like school related. Like I wrote, chemistry is the equivalent to heavy metal music. It just makes me want to punch everyone in the throat.
There you go.
Hashtag simplistically frustrating.
I sort of feel like now we're introducing a new segment. It's like, instead of Encore, it's like Freddy's tweets.
Oh, or funny ideas about Halloween costumes. You know what would be a really badass Halloween costume? Do Botox to only half your face and go as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Nice.
Sweet.
So there you go. You can find that and other pearls of wisdom at Freddy with a Y _Yanis YANIZ.
Or praline chestnut latte. I wonder if Starbucks had a targeted demographic other than old people with this one.
But I actually had that. That was delicious.
Hashtag Starbucks can be for everyone. Oh, you're an old person in disguise.
I'm not that old. Come on.
So yeah, just little funny things like that.
Well, yeah. So then, if you want more followers, I recommend tweeting more. Because you're reading tweets from like a year and a half ago, and you're like, I said this one time.
All right, I wrote this 2 days ago.
Okay, there you go.
Why are the clocks put forward on days that I'd rather not have them? Why not on Christmas Eve or the day before Batman v Superman comes out?
There you go.
Hashtag get a clue.
I agree.
Come on, America.
I retweeted it, so you can also find that on my Twitter. But yes,
it's because I brought it to your attention.
You did,
but still,
I didn't see it because you tweet so rarely. When you do, I'm like, whoa, hold on, everybody.
It's out of consideration for people. I don't want to blow up people's newsfeed.
I don't want to blow up people's minds with my intellect.
Well, that too, but mainly because of the latter, and me not wanting to blow up people's news feeds.
Okay.
So, but you should follow me on Twitter. Follow him on Twitter. Even though I don't put stuff very often, my tweets are the best tweets of all time. And Mark Zuckerberg should totally give me $1 billion.
There you go. Now you're really channeling Kanye.
Yeah. And I'm gonna sell T-shirts, just a white plain T-shirt, for $100. My signature style.
Does it really? Probably does.
It was like $100 or $200, something crazy like that.
Were you shopping?
And they sold out.
Were you shopping for Kanye stuff at Nordstrom's or something?
No, I saw it on John Oliver.
Oh, okay. It's kind of ridiculous.
But it's ridiculous. A plain white T-shirt, because that's Kanye West's signature. He's like a cartoon character.
Pretty much.
He just wears the same
full
thing.
Of white T-shirts.
Yeah. He's like, oh, what shall I wear today? The off-white, the regular white,
or the eggshell.
The regular white.
Hashtag 50 Shades of White.
All right.
I think we'll call it a day. Find again, crookedtable.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Tumblr, wherever social media is at.
You're on Tumblr?
We are on there. I told you that.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Yeah, remember.
No one goes on Tumblr. I'm on Instagram, but
there you go.
I have one picture of me in Starbucks.
That's about it.
So you have that to look forward to.
Very exciting.
All right.
We'll see you guys next time, on Friday, in fact. And until then, roll credits.
This has been a production of crookedtable.com. All rights reserved.
C-R-O-O-K-E-D.